Hey guys, Danny here. Welcome to a brand new video. And today we're going to be unboxing something new. The LGUN74 UN74 behind me. I've been waiting for this for a while and I can't wait to unbox it and see how it looks. So, what do you say? Let's crack it open. Right, so it's been a few days since actually opening the box, and I have a few thoughts. But first up, let's get some general info out. This is the 50-inch UN74 Series from LG. Great naming there, really clear. And it is part of the 2020 series of TVs, which also include the 7000 lineup, the 73 lineup. There's a lot. Anyway, this comes with LG WebOS 6 with the support for Google Assistant, as well as Amazon Echo. I won't say the proper name, I'd rather save your Echo devices, as well as support for Apple HomeKit and AirPlay 2. You know, for everybody who has Apple devices. That means you'll be able to use Siri to turn on and off your TV and change inputs, as well as Google Assistant or Amazon Echo speakers to adjust other things on the TV. It even has them built in, as I'll explain a bit later. And we could do this all without the need for extra accessories. So, let's start with design. This TV's design is a relatively aesthetic one, but it's not going to win any awards. It's in a black plastic frame with center stand, and it helps it blend in with most setups with the black paint, but it also means it doesn't really stand out. It's great if you want it to blend in, but if you're expecting a TV with a bit more pop, this isn't it. But then again, for the price range, it's as good as you're going to get, especially seeing as those that really have the pop sit closer to the 1000 and above line. So yeah, lacks a bit of flair, but it does the job. Next up, connectivity. This TV does not cheap out when it comes to connections. It comes equipped with 2 HDMI ports, one of them being extended ARC or eARC. So this means you can plug a sound system like a Dolby Atmos one or really other high-end sound system and it would just work. And you get perfect audio out. This is especially useful for watching movies or playing games and TV shows. So if you have an external device that supports it, that is incredibly helpful. As well as another one as well. It does support eARC, but still also supports 4K. So you'll get the perfect picture quality if your device supports it. There's also optical out for audio if you have one of the devices that supports it, like a Razer Leviathan or other sound systems. 2 USB ports, which can be used to display images from USBs or other external drives, or even just be used to hold recordings that you make on the TV. Bluetooth 5, so you can connect different sound systems or even headphones, which is something I like to do a lot. And a component port, you know, for those 5 people who still use a Nintendo Wii today. That way you'll be able to connect everything up, even with older connections. Which is a surprise, seeing as most newer TVs are kicking that port out. So you won't be strapped for inputs. My only gripe is the fact that they all live on the left side of the TV. So this means that if you're trying to plug something in and it's on the other side, for example, if I'm trying to plug in my computer, which lives on the right side of the TV, I am forced to either get an incredibly long cable or have to unplug everything and move it. So I would have liked if they were a bit more spread out over the back, so that way you don't have to stretch around a lot. Although, I guess that may be a problem depending on where you actually put the circuit board inside the device. But yeah, that's my one issue with it. Otherwise, inputs are great. sound. This is good enough. Look, this was never going to be the most stellar thing in the world, and it was never ever going to replace a sound system. But it's definitely good enough for a casual movie or TV show, or even listening to music offhandedly. But yeah, don't expect it to rival any massive Dolby Atmos cinema sound setup anytime soon. We're not quite there yet. It comes with two 20-watt speakers that fire downwards from the bottom of the TV, and they do a good job of sounds, but volume drops significantly if there's a lot of bass present, so this may be a problem if you're listening to very bass-heavy songs, as it means other instruments that sit at the top end mean that you won't hear them easily, and you may have to crank up the volume a little bit. You're probably better with an actual subwoofer and external speakers. This TV does support the ability to use a sound system and the internal speakers at once. So maybe if you had an internal sound system, you could plug in one and get that to power your bass while using the internal speakers to keep an eye on the high end, which is a much, much better way of doing it. And it means you get the best of both worlds. Because don't get me wrong, they're not the greatest speakers in the world, but they are definitely good. Anyway, but if you want to have a listen yourself, take a listen to this from Arundel Odyssey. This TV also has a feature called AI Sound, which adapts the sound based on your room, using the magic remote in the mic and the microphone built into it. It can change the sound quite dramatically, depending on your room, and it really is dependent on what you do. So, and it's also dependent on the content you watch, because sometimes it may be great, especially for things a little bit like music and so on, certain songs. It can alleviate a bit of the bass problem, but it isn't perfect, and for some things you may feel better turning it off or using a different sound mode. There's also movie, game, bass boost, treble boost, and more sound modes in the sound settings. Picture quality. This is the part you've been waiting for, because, you know, you can have a great TV, but if the picture quality sucks, then what's the point? Anyway, long story short, this TV's picture is great, with good black levels and great clarity. It even supports HDR, so if you have content that supports it, such as, I don't know, WandaVision or other Marvel shows, not even Marvel, anyway, it helps to get the most out of your content. This HDR, however, does not support Dolby Vision. That is a very clear thing that needs to be pointed out. It supports HDR10 and HLG, but not Dolby Vision. So if any content that supports that, it won't show in HDR. You'll know when HDR is running because you'll get a little pop-up at the top of the screen. This TV also supports upscaling, so it will make some of your content more clear. This is especially helpful if you're using devices that don't natively support 4K. For example, my Xbox One. Because it's the original Xbox One, not the One S or One X, it never came with 4K support out of the box. So it means that the TV is forced to upscale it in order to make sure you don't get blurry picture. This works best on any inputs that aren't the main live TV input. Live TV, your mileage will vary quite significantly. My best guess is because live TV doesn't natively go even HD, like it's 480p, so the TV either has to work incredibly hard or just decide it's not worth it. So yeah, it's very dependent on which app you're using or whichever input your TV is set to at the time. Works great for things like iPlayer and Xboxes. The live TV, not so much. There is one other gripe I have with this TV, and that is the viewing angles. LG doesn't have a consistent lineup when it comes to their paneling system. Some of them are IPS. So like your computer monitors, like higher-end computer models, that is what they use. And this one is VA. Now, IPS has much better black levels and viewing angles, but color takes a bit more work to get to where you want it. Whereas VA, better color, but black levels look a bit grayish. You won't notice this if you are watching with daylight, but it becomes ever more prevalent if you're in the dark. And there's also really weird viewing angles, so you would have to push this TV pretty far back in order to compensate for it. Otherwise, you could be sitting on the sofa on one end of the room and somebody sitting on another, and you two could be seeing completely different pictures because the color shift starts. It's not the most ideal thing in the world, and I really wish there was a way to fix this. But beyond the picture quality, what other things are in this TV? Well, these are some of the features. It comes with quite a few of them. There's instant response mode for gaming. So this means that your TV will drop from the standard 100 milliseconds down to 10, which is really helpful for console gaming, especially if you're playing things like first-person shooters or so on. This will turn on automatically if you have a games console connected. If not, and it's like a PC, the TV will still try to decide itself, but it can be manually enabled to get around it. You can't turn this on something like live TV though. There's also other features, all powered by the TV's smart system, called WebOS. It supports the ability to use the Google Assistant and Amazon Echo Assistant. I will not invoke her name. So you can summon things such as controlling your lights or other smart home accessories. And the fun thing is, you don't need a separate Amazon Echo device or Google Home device to complete this. Instead, they are built in to the Magic Remote. Just press and hold this voice button and you can choose between the Google Assistant or Amazon Echo. And you'll be able to do cool things with it. Including, if you have other accessories, summon them up on the TV. For example, other LG accessories can be summoned using the LG ThinQ dashboard. Just say, show me the status of my washer, and you would get that up. Or on Amazon Echo, we have a Ring camera outside our front door. We can simply ask, show me the front door, and our front door shows up on the TV. WebOS is slightly iffy though, which means it takes a bit of time to load it, but more on that in a second. The LG ThinQ Hub and dashboard allow you to also see other devices connected to your TV, as well as adjust things like connection settings for AirPlay and HomeKit. Speaking of HomeKit and AirPlay, it allows you to be able to control the TV on the Home app. So, this is a little more limiting than the Amazon Echo and Google Assistant integrations, but I feel like that's sort of partially Apple to blame here. But you'll be able to use Siri to turn on and off the TV as well as switch its inputs, as long as they're actually connected to the TV already. You can also cast to the TV using AirPlay, so you won't need a separate Apple TV to mirror your screen or just show content up. And I've been using it a lot to watch videos and stuff from my phone on the TV. Saves me a lot of time. But it's not only just TV and videos, but you can also even cast up music. For example, the Armadillo Odyssey clip from earlier, that was being cast through AirPlay from Apple Music. Although it supports other services as long as they have AirPlay support. You can also control it using the Apple TV remote control sensor plugin. So when it's connected to the TV, this automatically shows up and you'll be able to use it to just do basic movement, like moving around menus, going back, play, pause, and so on. It's not as full-featured as the ThinQ app, but it definitely helps in a pinch. Remember what I said about WebOS? Well, sometimes it can be quite slow. Maybe that's just not well optimized, or that maybe it was just coded in a really heavy language. But sometimes it can take a moment to open an app, or load guide listings. And it doesn't even load them all at once, it only loads them in chunks. As well as another little gripe of mine, coming from a Samsung TV, I was used to the fact that you could switch apps quite easily. I could open YouTube, then jump to Disney Plus, and jump to iPlayer, and back. And all three of them would mostly stay open, bar iPlayer. But that's a BBC problem, because iPlayer will just reboot on any device. That's just that's the BBC's fault. But here on WebOS, if I open one app, the other is immediately closed. Which means if you're just checking something in one app and jumping back to the other, you would have to start all over again. I really did wish this wasn't the case, and I hope that LG can make it so that it's not as annoying in the future when you're doing this. Maybe next versions, because unfortunately LG don't really do well in updating their TVs in the long run. So you'll get software and security updates, don't get me wrong, but big version updates like WebOS 6 to 7, don't expect those. They're like on a per yearly basis. You get the WebOS version for your year, and that's it. So yeah, I don't expect fixes for this WebOS version, but maybe WebOS 7, especially with its brand new redesign, may help with this. Anyway, in conclusion, this TV is a great choice for anybody who wants good features on a budget, coming in at around £420 at last check, but I have seen it as low as £300, which is what we got our TV for here. You get premium features, great picture quality, and decent sound without breaking the bank. And it's definitely helpful for large screen experiences like a budget home cinema. Or, the next episode of WandaVision, without dropping so much cash. Anyway, if you like the video, please like and subscribe for more like this, and tell me what you want to see in the description below. I've left a link to a larger version of this TV, a 70-inch version as well, if you want to check it out. The features are still the same, just larger. Anyway, that's all for now. Till next time, stay safe, YouTube.